All right. Good morning to you all. Rise and shine. If you're in the United States, those of you around the world, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Rep your city, rep your city. We got Indianapolis in the building, we got San Jose in the building. To everybody on Facebook, I am representing Chicago. Everybody on Twitch, I'm representing Chicago. Everybody on Kick and everybody on YouTube, I am representing Chicago, Illinois. Here we go. Early morning is going to be a long day. I'll probably knock out a few conversations today. Good to see you. You all go support Studio 202. Go support that channel. We have Richmond, California in the building. Come on in, hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Run those likes up. And let's get it popping. I'm up early this morning, slept and relaxed. Worked out a little bit yesterday, didn't go live, took it easy. Got a lot of rest in. Doing a little bit of lifting. And so I end up being up around 3:30 this morning after sleeping all that I could. And I ended up watching a program on YouTube. Yes, indeed. And I always watch Richard Wolff. I find Richard Wolff very interesting. So I'll go check this out. Yeah, definitely, for sure, go check this out. The world isn't ready for this. Go check that episode out. Go check it out. You know, very interesting. Expand your mind, okay? You can't just watch the same type of content day in and day out. Right? So I check out Richard Wolff a lot. This is how I learn how to listen. This is how I learn not to always challenge information because I can't challenge a YouTube presentation. So it's really good for your knowledge where you just have to sit and listen and you can't be interrupting or putting your own input in there or debating what's said. You have to just listen to the presentation. So I listened to the presentation. It was excellent. High level information for sure. It was very interesting. Very. to the point where I think I might have to see if I can get him over here and interview him. Like, hey, Richard, you mind coming to the hood? Would you mind coming to the hood, talking to my people? So I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get Richard to come to the hood, talk to your boy. Of course, I won't say much. I'll just ask questions and be studious. I think I'll have to get him over here and answer some questions. I'd like to hear his answers to some of my questions. I'm going to ask some questions nobody else would ask him. So I think I'm going to get him over here. I watch him all the time. He should come. I'm a big supporter. Big supporter. Big supporter. So go check out his channel, where he's at. I think it's people that's editing his stuff and posting it. Go check that out. It's off the chain. It's called Chasing Sharp. So go check out Chasing Sharp. It's good. It is good. This is the one I was watching, Richard Wolff. Trump will melt down when he realizes this. Okay? Trump will melt down when he realizes this. Go check that out. Go check it out. Good information, for sure. So I checked it out. It was very interesting. It was breaking down the United States. And it was breaking down how the United States is a nation that's on the decline, like Greece and Rome. And he was breaking down the mistakes that the United States is making. And he was breaking down the global economy. And he was breaking down China. And the interesting thing that he broke down that I learned about China is he was saying that the Chinese have learned how to split their government and have learned how to have a new type of socialist government. And he was breaking down that when they say socialist, there's a lot of different types of socialists, and people get the wrong idea. And how Russian socialism is not like China, and that one's not like the other one. But he broke down something deep, and he was saying that the Chinese have took their country, and he was saying like America is a country based on business, free market and business. And he was saying some other countries are like the country runs everything, socialism. And this was deep. He said, but the Chinese have split theirs in half. So half of the country is business, and the other half is ran by the government. That was deep. And he was said because they did that, they're going to go further than America by a long shot, because they still got free enterprise, but they still have the government dominating when necessary. That they have developed a very unique mixture of how the American government run and socialism, and they put the two together. And he was saying that And I hope I don't, it's hard to repeat what he be saying because he's a master teacher. So he was saying that, so when their economical and business half of the country get in trouble, the government bail them out. That they can go to the government to take money from over here and put it over here. It was deep. I was like, whoa. So he was breaking down how the Chinese is running everything. And then he was saying that the American government under Trump has kicked the European Union to the curb and told them they got to make it on their own. And then he said it's a high possibility that they'll start doing business with China. That was deep, man. Y'all need to go watch that. It was heavy. It was heavy. But it all boiled down to American ingenuity is behind. That the Chinese ingenuity is exceeding American ingenuity by light years. Their electric cars are light years ahead of ours. Their inventions are light years ahead of ours. Their technology is light years ahead of ours. And that with the trade wars, nobody cared because he was saying what America didn't understand is there's so many people over here that they just trade amongst themselves and saying the hell with the U.S. That under Trump, the U.S. is isolating itself. And the people that's leaving the U.S. and doing business elsewhere ain't never coming back. He's saying them people never coming back. That they're establishing a world that doesn't include the U.S. It was deep. And his prediction is the U.S. is done. That's what he was saying. He was like, the U.S. is only 4.5% of the world population. Just a little bit over 4%. That's not nobody. Just let that sink in. Out of 100%, the U.S. is only 4% of the population, which means America can't even get the money because the money going to be with the 95.5%. The 90, if you're only 4.5% and you isolate yourself, right? But there's 95.5% population out there in the world. And then other nations, China started doing business with them. That's an L. They got a bigger population than you, so they can do more production than you. They're raising their quality and expertise in their work above you. As of now, they got the best SUVs in the world. And it ain't no way America gonna catch up. Well, there's a way, but America has to get rid of a little bit of its white supremacy. It's just not, America's just not gonna make it unless they get rid of the racism. They don't have a chance. As you go into the future, Your clientele ain't going to be white. Your clientele going to be Asian, Indian, African. If that clientele in these other countries realize that you're racist, they ain't going to spend no money with you. Why would they? Why would they? You're not going to be able to compete. How are you going to compete? America's got to come into the new age, and the racism got to be gone, and they got to start thinking about winning as a unit. The United States got to be on some all hands on deck type situation. So even with the border crossing and ICE, yeah, throw them out because you didn't let them in right. But if you would have let them in right, you wouldn't have to throw them out. Why aren't they looking for the people that's highly skilled or the ability to go to school and become highly skilled and letting them in the country? It don't make no sense. Do you want your country to excel or not? Hey, it can't be that everybody's got to do stuff, got to be white. You just want it done. They got to start thinking in terms of the United States and stop thinking in terms of race. There are too much American politicians, they thinking in terms of race, and they eliminating people that can help America compete. Basically, because racism, listen, you don't even have to take racism. Anyway, you can take it black. If I'm black and I only want to hire black people, I can get so caught up in hiring black people that I end up hiring black people that can't even do a good job instead of the white dude or the white woman that could have did a better job. The Asian dude could have done a better job. But I hire a dude because he black. Then he come mess the whole business up. Am I in business? Am I in business, or is this a racial business, or is this a business? I can't just hire you because you're black. You gotta be able to do the job, right? Don't even use race. Let's use family. Do you know how many people lost their businesses hiring family? Because you hiring him because he's your son or your nephew, but he ain't gonna do no good job. Ruin your whole business. You would have did better to hire somebody you don't know that's gonna do a good job than your nephew. Race, family, whatever. You gotta hire the best people. You know, this country gonna have to start thinking as a country and stop trying to think as a white country. That's gonna be their downfall. That's gonna be their downfall. And so when I was listening to that, then I started thinking, well, when you look at history, honestly, how did they get so rich in the first place? Who kicked the country off and invented a lot of the stuff that you make your money off of now? So my thing is, okay, if you know that that a majority of your things in the country that made the country number one was based on free labor from slavery and a lot of black inventors, why would you discriminate against these black people, put them in a situation where they become less educated and put them in a situation where they can't help the country because you discriminated them, undereducated them, and now you got geniuses that's in prison and stuff like that because they never got a chance to get to work towards their excellence. So I'm thinking America got black people right here that could make the country number one, but it's so racist. It shoot its own self in the foot by keeping down the people that invented most of the stuff you got that made you successful in the first place. That don't make no sense. But you're so racist, you don't even want to admit all of the inventions that the people made. You don't always want to admit what really made your country great in the first place. So you'd rather China pass America than to educate these young black youth that can come and make this country even greater than what it is. Because you're going to always have people, you're going to have white Americans that come up with great things. You're going to have Asian Americans come up with great things, Hispanic Americans, and black Americans if you give everybody the opportunity. But you got to give everybody opportunity so you can get the best for the country. You can't be a race and a country. America's got to make their mind up. Do you want to be a country or do you want to be a race? Because with only 4.5% of the population, you ain't going to be able to compete with the Asians or the Indians or the Africans as soon as they get themselves together. You're going to be done. So you're going to need some extra help. You're going to need some extra help. You're going to need somebody that can come and invent things that even the Chinese wouldn't invent. And I would say that foundational Black American or American descendants of slaves would be your best gamble based on the history we already got. We've already got the history of all the inventions that put this country number one in the first place. To the point the Chinese is over there using things that foundational Black Americans invented. The things we invented over here went global. Everybody was using them. So it's like America is sitting on a gold mine, but rather drown and promote hate and division than to win. It really don't make no sense to me, because to me, I'm thinking, man, we need to get these black people, we need to get them some more education. We need to get them popping so we can compete with these Chinese. We got these black people here. They got inventors, they got the blood of inventors in their body. Why? I don't understand. It don't make no sense to me. Right now, they saying there's no consensus on which economy is objectively the best, as their strengths and weaknesses cater to different subjectives. The U.S. offers stability, a large and high productivity market, and technological leadership, making it a dominant global economy in terms of size and influence. China's economies offer faster growth potential and significant industrial power, but faces serious internal challenges such as the property crisis and weak consumer demand. The economic outlook of both countries remains uncertain and dependent on future policy decisions. For instance, the U.S. faces questions about managing its national debt and political polarization, while China's long-term success will hinge on its ability to address its property market woes and transition to more consumer-driven model. That's what that says, but look what the numbers. The numbers don't say none of this. The numbers say China's winning. Cement, look. Steel production, look. Everything 100%. Make it make some sense. I think even the information we looking up is lying. Ain't want to tell the real information that America's behind. I believe this is propaganda. I believe this is propaganda. Look, China is currently leading in the electric car market due to its larger sales volume, greater variety of models, and lower average costs, while the U.S. is a major player but lags behind in certain areas, like manufacturing scale and a variety of affordable EV models. China's advantages include a well-established supply chain for batteries and components, government subsidies, and a lead in features like fast charging technology. They cars charge up right like this. And they got all the natural resources. They got the raw minerals right over there. We don't. And they're in Africa making deals to get more. And because they got so many people, when you tell them, yeah, you can come get iron ore, they're going to get more because they got more people. So they can send a whole lot of people, and a whole lot of people can get how much ore. A whole lot of people can get how much gold. If you had 10 people and I had 1,000 people and they said we could come and get gold, who would get the most gold, the 10 or the 1,000? You'll be limited in your mining because you only got 10 people. I got 1,000. So if you look at the U.S. population, the Chinese population, you can't even work with them man to man. They outnumber you. So they got the ability to get more. Look. So my thing is, why wouldn't you use your secret weapon if you really wanted to compete? It don't make no sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It seems to me that if I wanted to compete, I would reverse these prison systems, I would reverse these schools, and I'd put a whole lot of money in the Black community and a whole lot of policing in the Black community. And I'd rid the crime and I'd raise the level of education in the Black community, try to see how many geniuses I can get out of there. I do the same in the white communities. I do the same in every community. I wouldn't just do the Black community, but I would definitely put some money in the Black community. Because when you look at these inventions that Black people made back in segregation, imagine the inventions that we would make now if it was a fair world where Blacks and whites work together and you got these Blacks working with other white geniuses and Asian geniuses, American geniuses. Imagine what they would make. And be fair and stop cheating people out their inventions and just get the bag, just build the inventions and get the bag for the country. Whoever's going to make money going to come into the country, help them do it. I don't give a damn what they are. Female, male. You gonna discriminate against some female that can make how much billions of dollars for this country with her idea? And discrimination got to stop, and we got to start investing in who can make the money over here, or this country is gonna be like the caveman. You're gonna be over here broke. Richard Wolff said, if they don't watch it, people gonna come to America like going to the museum to look at your cars, how old your cars are, and how your cars are so far behind. They're gonna be coming to America to see old stuff. That's what he said. He said America's gonna be somewhere people visit to see old buildings and old infrastructure. They stuff gonna be so much advanced. And they ain't lying. They ain't lying. I'm 67. I got friends travel all over the world. They say you go to Asia, man, it's like you went into the future. My boy said when he came back from Asia, he said it was like coming to the Flintstones. He said it was like coming to the Flintstones when he came back from Japan and Asia. He said it was like going back in time. He said, Pharaoh, if you look at these L trains in Chicago, New York, and you go to Asia and look at their trains, you'll shake your head. He said, if you look how clean it is, he said, you'll shake your head. He said, boy, if you throw a piece of paper down there, you going to jail. If you spit on this, anything like that, you're going to jail. It's clean. You can't litter. And the technology is beyond. That's why so many Black Americans are moving to Asia. Black Americans are moving to Asia left and right and left. Africans too. Going to Asia left and right and left. So I'm just looking at this country wondering when they're going to realize who to invest in. When they're going to go back to the drawing board and say, listen, these people got the skills and we diminishing their abilities by destroying their schools and destroying their communities. We need to lift these people up so we can get some money over here. Sometimes you could be so selfish that you shut your own money down. You could be so selfish. Like when I went to high school, they were so racist that they rather put their own kids out there and lose the games than to put the black boys out there that's going to win the game. They don't care. They put some guys out there can't play at all just because their mama and daddy is white and with the teacher's guild and all that. They put him making a quarterback. He can't throw. He can't do nothing. The favoritism. They rather lose. They rather lose or than to be fair. It don't make no sense. It just, when I'm listening to all this and I'm saying, well, they know that black people made all these inventions. Why do they don't invest in black people and get us back up on a high level? Why are they trying to lower us? You're in America, you got these black people that can do all these great things for the country. You're trying to lower them. You're trying to push a racist agenda. But then China's passing you. And you rather just lose. You rather just lose because you put race before the country. And you're going to look up and the country going to be just poverty ridden. You can look at it already. Homeless people everywhere. Homeless people all over the place in this country. I kid you not. Where they so busy being racist and so busy being hateful that they ain't even putting the people in power that can make something happen. To the point where you just ruin your own people. That don't even make no sense. It don't make no sense that you so hateful that you willing to go pour yourself. You willing for your own people to be homeless rather than create a fair society where people can make the place better. It's like having a business and you into electrical works and stuff. It's this Asian dude, he cold with it. It's this black African dude, he good with it. But you only want to hire your sister and your relatives and your neighbors, but they ain't good with it. So now, them people you didn't hire, they go work for another company. You look up, everybody buying that other company's electrical works. Ain't nobody buying your stuff. You go out of business. You go out of business because you didn't want to hire the best people, right? You don't want to hire the best people, so you go and you hire your own and you lose. You rather lose, you know what I'm saying, than to hire the best people. The most ridiculous thing ever. I'm not hiring no black dude if the white dude could do the best job. I'm not doing that. Like what? I'm gonna hire whoever could do the job. Whoever could do the job, I don't care if you're Chinese, I don't care if you're a female, a male, or whatever. Whoever could do the job, get the job. You can't run no country racially and have a racial country and then compete with other countries that's just competing as a country. You can't have no racial America and compete with China that's just China. You ain't gonna be able to compete. The only way you compete with China, you just gotta be America. You can't be black and white America and all this weirdo stuff. You can't compete. A lot of times, racial stuff, them be the dumbest people. Like when you get around like a whole lot of pro-black dudes, they be straight dumb. They can't do nothing but talk black stuff. They got no skills. They can't do nothing. That's all they could do is talk about black. Can't do nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. Go around some Pan-Africans or some the dumbest people you ever been around. That's all they know how to do. Same for white supremacists. Dumb as hell. That's all they know is white and black. They don't know no electricity, no math, no nothing. All they know is racism. I'm telling you, the more they talk race, the dumber they be. I'm telling you. Look at Trump, dumb as a rock. Everybody know Trump is stupid. That man ain't got a lick of sense. He just know how to act. He an actor. And now he getting older. He messing that up. He can't even do his act good no more. And to me, it just don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Like if you in the country and you ain't trying to make no money, you putting everything before money. That makes no sense. It reminds me of baseball. And baseball back in the day was racist. They didn't want the black players to play. But one of the teams went on ahead and said, give me Jackie Robinson. And when he got Jackie Robinson, they started winning. They was making money. So then that's when the other whites said, give me one too. If he could play, and then they're like, give me one, and then give me one, now give me two, now give me two. They said, we better get the person that could play. We tripping. We're not finna pass up on no Willie Mays. America need to get back to that. They need to get back to the same mistake they was making with sports. Because the one that said, let me get the best player, start winning everything. Said, the hell with race. This guy could play. Let me get the guy that could play. Give me Jackie Robinson. Start winning everything. That's how this country got to get back to that. You know, to me in this country, ain't nobody focused on the economics. They own a whole bunch of foolishness. They ain't gonna even have no food to eat. Stores gonna be empty. Whole economy gonna crash because they worried about like everything other than the economy. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. You know, if you black and watching me, don't get into that. Don't buy into that. That's why your neighborhood is raggedy now. Because you're thinking about everything but the money. What's up with the money, though? What's up with the money? You going to get out there and get the money? You going to go out there and open gas stations in your community and stuff like that? Because all that other stuff, man, nobody want to hear that. All that talk and no action. Like race, religion, your sex, that's all trash. You can't buy nothing with that. And you can't feed your baby no race. You can't feed your baby no religion. And you can't feed your baby no male or no female. You got to feed them food. You need money. And when you in the area, you got to work together in that area for that area to be successful. I don't know what's wrong with people in the U.S. They slow. You in the area, you got to work in that area to get where you try to go. When you in that area and you ain't working on behalf of that area, you slow. Because when the tornadoes and stuff come, it ain't going to care what you is. You think the tornado going to care? Ask Jamaica. Everybody talking about Jamaica. Everybody showing them black people in Jamaica. But you know how much them businesses lost? You know how much them hotels and stuff lost and them restaurants? They lost a fortune. Everybody lost. In the whole Jamaica lost. But when Jamaica was up, was they all working together? No. The ones with the hotel was working against the poor. But when the hurricane came, it didn't give a damn about if you had money or not. They should have been working together to make Jamaica better. Because anytime you're pushing racism or some type of classism, you're going to have the good part and the bad part. But when you got the bad part, that's not smart. When you say, well, they over there, they got AIDS, they got disease, you're going to end up with it. I don't be understanding this. If you let them get rats or you let them get disease, you gonna get it. It just if you're in America and you don't put no money in the black communities and they go down, the whole country gonna go down. Duh. The whole country gonna go down. You can't have the black part no good. It's not gonna, that's a sore. And that sore gonna spread. And next thing you know, look at it now. The whole country is looking broke. All the Walgreens closing. The ones that ain't closed, they got to lock everything up. And you go downtown Chicago, you see all these white homeless drug addicts and people with mental, white, a bunch of them, thousands. They're not black. Because when you put that negative energy out there, it ain't going to stay in no race or no sex or no religion. It's going to go everywhere. You got to have like a positive energy. This country got to start being a country and stop with all that other nonsense. And open up their eyes. This lady not black and she not doing so well. That stuff got to end, man. You know, I don't like living in no country where people ain't focused about getting no money to the whole country. I don't like it. I'm going to keep it real. If you ain't focused about bringing the money into the whole country, I don't like it. Because we can't get no money unless you bring the money over here. You know, this country going to have to realize you compete with other countries, man. Stop competing within the country. Stop competing in America, white against black, and women against men, and all this weird gay and straight and all this. Boy, y'all need to get y'all head together and compete against these other countries before we all be over here starving. That's how I look at it. Like we're going to all be starving. Because at the end of the day, them other countries, they don't like Americans, period. I don't know when America's going to wake up. They don't care what kind of American you are. They don't like you. Go to France and let them hear your accent. And they think it's stupid American. They don't care if you're an Asian one, a black one, a white one, or whatever. If you're American, they competing against you. Period. They don't care. They competing against you. You over here talking all that Pan-African, take your ass to Africa. And they looking at you as a Ferengi, as a black American. They not going to respect you as no African. And anybody over there now in Ghana, whatever, that tell you anything other than that is a liar. And it's been like that since I was a shorty. We've been sending contingencies to Africa. And now you never going to be them. It's not going to ever happen. You're going to always be an American. Period. It don't make no sense when you live in somewhere and the economy is based on the money you bring into that area. It don't make no sense not to work together. It's confusing. That don't make no sense to me. Like everybody in America is supposed to be trying to bring some money to the country together. You can't be here and be all divided up and then somebody else competing against you. Now, if you're the only people, yeah. But if you got Germany and you got other places competing against you as a country, how you going to be in the country fighting when somebody competing against you in the country? That, man, listen. That don't make no sense. None. It don't make no sense. Not to me. Go over there and watch. Go over here and watch Chasing Sharp and watch the presentation over there. The one right here that says ritual of Trump will melt down. Trump will melt down when he realizes this. Go watch that and you're going to see why I'm saying this. Because we in the country collapsing. We're going to all starve over here. We in a collapsing country. Facts. About 2-3 more years, China going to run all this. India trying to come up. Europe finna break away because America they kicked them to the curb and said, man, we not giving y'all no more money for no European Union. Y'all got to do on y'all own. So under Trump especially, ran all the allies away. And then the country all divided. And white Americans is a disappointment because they know damn well they can't run this country by themselves. And they know damn well a lot of stuff black people did over here. I don't know what's wrong with them. They know doggone well by now that their economy is built off of free labor. And they know doggone well that black Americans invented a lot of these inventions. And it ain't no more excuse for white America in 2025 or 2026 to act like you don't know nothing. You know. You just playing slow. And then when everything fall, you want my son to go pick up a weapon and go fight with you. You want our children to join the military, go fight, but then when the fight over, you back selfish. That's the only time we could be unified, when we got to put our life on the line, then we come back, we back divided. Black Americans fought in every war in this country. From the Revolutionary War on through the Civil War, on through World War I, World War II, name it, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Grenada, name it. It's this video right here. You go to Chasing Sharp, subscribe, and it's this video right here. It says the world isn't ready for this on the title, and this ritual of Trump will melt down when he realizes this. That's the one. That'll show you why I'm saying what I'm saying, because after watching that, you know what I'm saying, it was doom and gloom basically for the country. According to what Richard was saying, it ain't looking good. You know what I'm saying? According to what Richard was saying, it's not looking good. I mean, these is expert economists, and they say this is just their opinion. This is what this is what it's gonna look like when you click on it. And man, it was heavy, man. I ain't gonna lie. And it was like America messed up. Basically, he's saying America messed up. America's on its way. America's on this way to collapsing. According to them. It was heavy, man. The name of the channel was Chasing Sharp. That's the name of the channel. That's the name of the channel, Chasing Sharp. Go check it out. It's heavy. It's heavy. It's going to put something on your mind, that's for sure. It's going to put something on your mind. I mean, it was heavy. America ain't looking so good. And these are some of the top economists. All they talk about is the economy. And they saying the economy in America, the way America functioning, it ain't gonna make it. That's what they saying. I mean, they breaking it down. I mean, man, they breaking it all the way down. Okay, they breaking it all the way down. That's the thing. Another thing, you got to expand your mind. You got to watch a more larger variety of things. You can't just watch what they just try to feed you. You know what I'm saying? But here go the channel right here. Go subscribe. It's heavy. It's heavy. It definitely pertains to you too. Don't make no mistake. They talking about stuff gonna affect you directly. Trust me what I'm telling you. Because if this situation collapse, where we gonna work? Where we gonna work at? You know what I'm saying? And Wolf don't be cutting no corners. He don't be cutting no corners. And I watch him all the time. But the one I watched this morning, it made me think about my subscribers. I was like, you know what? I got to go tell my subscribers what's going on with this. Like, this is not a good look. And it was crazy because the way they was talking, America's in a fix. And America's not going to be able to keep up as far as technology. So then I started thinking, well, America's not using all its weapons. America's not using Black Americans. So I started thinking, well, a lot of the inventions Black Americans made. So I started thinking, well, why they not reaching? Why they ain't reaching for Black Americans to help compete against the Chinese? It didn't make no sense to me. Why not reach for the people that you built your economy off of? Because no matter what they say, that's they built their economy off of Black Americans. There was no patent office. The patent office was designed to steal our inventions so that the owners, the slave owners or the plantation owners could take your invention and go patent it. Now they own it. They patented a lot of that stuff. The first airplane, a Black dude made it, and he shipped it to the World Fair, and it came up missing. Then next thing you know, the Wright brothers got a plane. Well, it came up missing. Where did it go? As soon as he bought it to the post office, they called people. He bought something in here. You need to come look at it. Stole that man's idea. And you could bet the automobile and all that, the carburetor and all that, you could bet all that stuff was stolen. When they started calling the factory a plant, they got that from the blind guy. Who's that, George Washington Carver? Who's the one always dealt with plants, right? And that's what Ford got the idea to call his factory a plant. And the whole assembly line, he got that from Carver, if I'm not mistaken. I think Carver was the blind one. He the one showed Ford how to set up their auto plant. And that's why it's called plant. Which means it's too late as far as trusting somebody. That ain't what trust ain't got nothing to do with business, bro. Business is business. You say you don't see FBA trusting them, but what you see FBA doing if this collapse? If this country collapse, what FBA gonna do? Exactly. That's all I'm saying. What FBA gonna do when ain't no food in the stores? You see what I'm saying? What FBA gonna do if the electricity go out and everything like that, natural disaster? What FBA gonna do? And so when when I'm over here with you and somebody's shooting at us, then I got to shoot back. I can't fight you right now with them trying to kill both of us. Okay, it's me and my friend. We two black dudes. We're in the back of a car. It's two white dudes driving. They holding us hostage, right? Both of them got two guns. We don't got nothing. We tied up. We driving down the road. A car pull up with four white dudes. They all got guns. They trying to unalive the white dudes driving the car. Shouldn't they untie us and give us the guns to let us get out of this situation first? Then we'll go back and deal with our situation later. But right now, untie me. They trying to get rid of both of us. And this is where white America's at today. Untie us. Because the Russians and the Chinese and stuff, they going to try to destroy the entire country. They don't care nothing about what race is over here. All they know is America. And if they attack America, they're going to attack everybody in America. The whole thing, they don't think like that. But what y'all want me to do? Think like them or think like I'm thinking? Because when I'm thinking like I'm thinking, why y'all keep telling me think like how they thinking? That's the problem. So what should we do? Not say nothing? Because they don't, you know what I'm saying? The idea is to change their thought pattern, not to just accept it. They got to change, period. They got to change. Ain't no, listen, people in America got to realize you in America, you either stick together or you go down. Ain't no in between. If we all on this piece of paper and somebody want to tear up this piece of paper, we got to protect this piece of paper. And this is where I don't understand people in America. They not really focused. You know why? Because the educational system ain't teaching Americans about the other enemies out there. They only teaching you about your enemies here. They're not teaching you that there's a bigger enemy. There's a bigger war. There's more going on. And you either gonna eat on this land or you're gonna starve. And when you run somewhere else, they ain't gonna respect you anyway. They're gonna consider you a refugee. But my point is, it's not them trusting us and all that. My point is, if you're America and you had these black people make all these inventions and you did real well, but now the rest of the world caught up because all that stuff is old. But you know these people got the knack and it's in their bloodline to invent stuff. If you got into a economic war with China, why wouldn't you wake up them people and say, you know what, we need to stop hating on these black people. They make a lot of stuff. I'm just thinking common sense. Why wouldn't you go and say, listen, man, it's America against China right now. We can't do race no more. That's all over with. That's water under the bridge. Here go y'all reparations. Build some stuff so we can compete as a country. I'm talking common sense. I ain't talking about what nobody ain't gonna do and all that. Okay. I'm talking about what makes sense. So don't bring up what they doing don't make no sense. Racism don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Why would you have people here that could possibly put you in a position where you could be number one in the world for real? Why would you be number 4 and 5 and go down rather than, that's crazy. Where you hate to the point you destroy yourself. That don't even make no kind of sense. That's all I'm saying. At this point, they're not making no sense. You try to compete with China. China's stepping on you. You got people here that could probably help you compete, but you want to be so racist that you're willing to lose. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense to me. It just don't. It's stupid. There's too many white Americans trying to live like this 1890 or something, and it's 2026. And they still trying to live like back in Jim Crow. How they gonna survive? They got a Flintstone mentality. They got a Flintstone mentality when everybody else is going into the future. It don't make no sense. Americans supposed to look at it like this. China is Chinese. Germany is Germans. Americans is a lot of different people. Let's just deal with that like that. For example, who taught them medicine? The Native Americans. So you're not going to go have them do no medicine? This is all I'm saying. I'm just talking common sense. I don't want to get into who. I'm talking common sense. If pharmacy come from the Native Americans when you came here, and everybody started getting sick, how long you going to keep hating on the Native Americans when your own mama and shit is sick, and you don't want to put all that to the side and say, you know what? Historically, these people was the ones that knew all the plants, knew all the pharmacy. Why don't we lift these people up and get them involved in healing and medicine? I'm just talking common sense. Everybody else talking about past beefs and stuff. I ain't talking beefs. I'm not talking beefs. I'm talking common sense. I'm talking common sense. Why wouldn't you lift up the Native Americans and put them in the healing world when they the ones knew how to heal? You would just rather stay sick when these people probably can cure AIDS, herpes, and all this. You rather just keep the AIDS and the herpes and just hate on them and don't put them in their rightful space where they can help you. You know you crazy when you don't lift nobody up that can help you, that you got so much hate that you're going to keep somebody down even though it destroy you. Because most likely it's going to destroy you and they're going to be all right anyway. Anyway. It don't make no sense. I don't understand how America is going to be divided and be able to compete against united countries. Somebody need to bring this up. There is no way that this country can be divided and compete against other countries. And you have to make up your mind. Do you want to beef or do you want to compete? Because you ain't going to be able to do both. You people here in the United States of America, you're not going to be able to beef and compete. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Because you don't got all hands on deck and you're only 4% of the population. So it's like if you're only 4.5% of the population and you only got 200 and you only got 300 million people and Chinese got 1 billion people. You say for some reason they think both is possible. I don't believe they're thinking at all. That's my point. I don't believe they're thinking at all. I don't believe they think about this at all, G-Rock. I think that a lot of black people think that they thinking and don't realize one day they're going to realize that they sleep, that they're not great like you think, and they're not thinking at all. They are not thinking. They have no unified, listen, America has no unified thought pattern. Facts. There is no consensus in this country. It's willy-nilly. Y'all don't see that? There is no thought at all. Man, if y'all don't see America's on autopilot, y'all don't see that? America is on autopilot. There is nobody making no decisions worth nothing. I'm telling you, y'all see them on the news talking about anything deep? When the last time you see them on the news talk about homelessness? When the last time you see them on the news talk about affordable housing, education? When the last time you seen the big politicians in Washington get on there for a week or 2 weeks and talk about education? 2 weeks talk about housing. 2 weeks talk about marriage and family. When you ever seen that? Never. They don't be talking about nothing. I'm watching the same TV y'all watching. They don't be talking about nothing. 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 They don't be talking about nothing. I said they. Yeah, you can only pull up one person. I said they. The United States government, local whatever, ain't on nothing. I'm going to tell you. You just type in anything, Bristow. That's why you don't stay on subject. Why you distracted? You know what I'm saying? Why you distracting the people? They ain't on nothing. You all good. They ain't on nothing. If you look at the audiences on social media, they just like the government. They got the people the same way. The people all over the place. But you ain't never going to go on Instagram, none of them, and see no particular subject matter that people stick with where they try to make no changes. Every other post is some other weirdo stuff. There ain't no consistency. No matter how bad something happened, there's no consistency on not one subject matter. You can't find one subject matter in the United States that Americans address. Not one. Even social media is made up of everybody saying a million different things. Every time you scroll, somebody says something different. For real, I'm telling you. To the point where when you do try to talk and you do try to hold some kind of thought on something, the people ain't used to it. They'll be blurting out the same way they've been trained on social media, the way you've been brainwashed on social media. That's the way you respond when we be trying to focus on something. You've been brainwashed so much to be all over the place that you can't even focus. You still all over the place. When it's real simple that they need to invest in Black America, they need to get these schools together, they need to uplift these people so that this country can compete with China and other countries, or we're going to be over here starving and broke. And this place is going to be a third world country. And if you go outside, some areas are starting to look like a second world country, almost to the third. Go up there in the Bay Area and go drive around and see all them camper homes and all them buses, all them raggedy cars up there that people is living and sleeping out of. Go to Hollywood and see people sleeping all on the street in Hollywood. Hollywood, when I went to California in the 80s as a young brother, Hollywood was prestigious. Now Hollywood is homeless people, dirty. If you know anything about symbolism, what's that symbolize? The fall of America. Well, this the whole thing. I used to be around brothers that be chanting for the fall of America, but they was going to be here when it fell. That's why my mind is different. I used to be around revolutionary and stuff, and brothers that be chanting down the country right here. You know, it was an elder named Gladdy. And a lot of Rastas be chanting down Babylon, say, we want Babylon to fall. So one day I was talking to Gladys, and we was going to go to a concert, and Gladys said, "Me don't like to go to them concerts and things." I said, "Why?" He said, "Me don't like to go to them things." He said, when me do go to a concert, he said, "I like to stand in the back by the door." So I said, "Well, why you want to stand at the back by the door?" He said, "Listen, brethren." He said, "All you roster brethren, you go to these big concerts in these big buildings. And then you get in there and you chant that Babylon shall fall." He said, "But what if the auditorium really fall?" He says, "I don't like being in them big Babylon buildings and y'all in there chanting that it fall. You chant that it fall on you." I'm like, that's deep. He like, "Yeah, you in there beating them 9 bingy drums and playing this music and chant down Babylon. And you in Babylon and you chanting down it to fall on you." He like, "You have to come out of Babylon before it fall. You got to leave Babylon. You don't chant down, say you want a country to fall and you in the country." This is what a lot of Black men on social media, that's what y'all doing. Y'all chanting down where you live at with no escape plan. No escape plan. And what I'm saying, Dark One, is if they put some money in foundational Black Americans and put some money, it won't be like that. They got the people here could turn it around. That's what I'm saying. Some of this is over people's head. I'm saying that if you brought people here as slaves, or they was already here, whichever one you choose, and they invented all this stuff, and now the Chinese is out inventing you, why wouldn't you rise those people up that you done beat down and put them back in a position and let them help you battle the Chinese? Because I guarantee you, foundational Black Americans will outcreate the Chinese and make inventions that will sell all over this world. Guaranteed. Because that's how America got number one. And the reason America not going to stay number one, because they never gave foundational Black Americans the credit for making them number one. We made America number one. We made America number one with free labor. You don't have to pay nobody. If you got a factory and you got to pay your employees, and I got a factory, I don't got to pay nobody, who going to make the most money? Me. So America made the most money because they didn't pay their employees first. Then America took them employees with some of the smartest people in the world and invented all these inventions that America sold. And America been living off of that money from that free labor and them inventions, and now them inventions is getting old, and now that money's drying up. While China's making new inventions, upgrading. America done put their inventors to sleep because we black and we ain't this and that. So you disenfranchise the people that helped you with all these inventions. You don't even want to give us some credit for inventing all of your traffic lights and everything and designing Washington, D.C. and building all your stuff. We built all this stuff. Because the whites was just immigrants from poor countries. We was the ones from Kemet. We was the ones from where we had pyramids and sphinxes and stuff already. The whites was from a starving Ireland and stuff. They had nothing. As a matter of fact, it was the black Moors that went up there and rebuilt Europe. They didn't even have toilets or nothing. So I'm saying, if you know this history, but you don't want black people to know all that great stuff, but you know it, and now you get in a battle with China, and China's doing all this inventing, it seemed to me you would humble yourself and say, we need to stop hiding the fact that these blacks know how to do all this stuff, and we need to just put that out there. We need to raise these blacks up, and we need to get some inventing going on in this country so we could compete with China. That to me just seemed like common sense. That you would say, what about the blacks? They probably could make some shit. But we got them too poor. We need to get them in some of these schools. Okay, we're going to have to put some money in the black community. We're going to have to compete with China. We got a bunch of smart whites. We got some smart Asians. We got some smarts everybody. But we disenfranchising these blacks, and they done made a lot of stuff. Imagine how much stuff they make if we put some money into them. The country be back popping. That's all I'm just thinking on business side. If you want to compete, you got the people here. Black Americans are the one that can make America compete, period. Whites are doing a good job, but the more the merrier. They're not doing a good enough job because you're only 4.5% of the population. So if you're only 4.5% of the population, you need all hands on deck. Look how many black people they disenfranchising that's going to prisons, that's end up on drug abuse, that's end up murdered and stuff, where you disenfranchise these people, and these people is the great people, and you disenfranchise them, turn them into nothing. But these are people that could save your country. It's like you crucified Christ. Look at Christ. Christ is the perfect example. A dude come. He can heal everybody. You blind, he can make you see. You can't talk, he can make you talk. He can make you hear. He curing leprosy and diseases, right? So this dude is going around curing people, and he trying to teach other people how to do it. Before everybody get cured, you murder him. That's America today. Why would you, when it finally hit me that they murdered the person that could heal everybody, imagine if you was a Roman soldier and you wanted to take your daughter, your wife, to see dude to heal your wife, and then you find out they unalived this dude. The dude that could help everybody, heal everybody. That's America. That's what they're doing. That's what America doing to black Americans. We the Christ. We the ones can heal. We the ones can build. You already know it. It's in all your books. The gig is up trying to hide it. It got social media. We already know we did all this stuff. We already know we designed Washington, D.C., the light. We know we made 95% of this shit over here. We know we made it. We also know you got your economy from free labor. We also know all the companies that got rich off of slavery, including Brooks Brothers and all that made slave clothes. We can go on and on. We know it all. You know it too. All right. That's going on within America. But then outside, you got China coming up trying to squash you. It seems you will squash the beef and fix the problem so that the country could compete. Especially you knew white people. You wasn't here back then. So why you holding on to some old ass racism that was back before your time, especially when you ain't built like that? You ain't gonna kill nobody. You ain't gonna let nobody. You ain't like that. You losing almost all your wars unless we go help you fight. And you won't just put that stuff behind and make this place better to live in and just raise up black people that can make this place a better place instead of destroying black people and having them make the place a worse place. Because that's all you're doing. By disenfranchising black people, you're making it a worse place. Prisons everywhere, murder and people being unalived everywhere. You could turn all that around. But racism and hate, but then racism and hate ain't helping you compete with the Chinese, you losing. Racism and hate ain't working. It's not working because you losing. You losing. And you losing badly. To me, it just didn't make no sense. I watched Wolf, and then that came to me because they was talking about competing and all that. And I said to myself, you know what? Why they don't never put us into the mix to help compete? You know, you're talking about competing, but it seems to me that Black Americans would be a main part of competing. That's what it seemed like to me. So I just wanted to come over here and break that down. Because to me, it seemed like they would humble themselves if they want to really compete. Because China is certainly and currently leading in the electric car market due to its larger sales volume, greater variety of models, and lower average costs, while the U.S. is a major player but lags behind in certain areas like manufacturing scale and a variety of affordable EV models. China's advantages include a well-established supply chain for batteries and components, government subsidies, and a lead in features like fast charging technology. A lot of this stuff America, white America is doing is slow to me. If I was a ruler, I wouldn't do none of this stupid stuff. America is not taking advantage of the benefit it got of foundational Black Americans being in this country. For example, China's getting a lot of its natural resources from Africa. Why would you let China go over there instead of raising black people up and send us over there and let us cut a fair deal with our brothers and sisters in Africa to get the stuff to help them and help over here? Instead of whites going and exploiting Africa, why not raise up foundational Black Americans to go to help Africa and here? No, you let the Chinese man go get stuff from the black man instead of letting the black man go get it. I'm just saying, why would you not make peace with the black man in America and make peace with the Africans? If you want to be a power, it's 1 billion black Africans. That give you world domination right there. That's world domination. I'm on some common sense, which is over probably some people here want to stay on some other conversation. So this is high level conversations that I'm having. So you gotta really be paying attention. See, like this person is slow. You understand? Because I already broke it down. If you're going down, then you're going to help whoever you're going to help to not go down. So you slow. You don't listen. So none of this makes sense to you because all you hear is white and black. You didn't hear China. And you're not paying attention. What's your name? Amadi Media? Well, your media is probably not that great because America's competing with China. If you leave that part out, of course it won't make no sense to you. Because you leaving that part out, you just saying white and black. You don't listen well. So I know your media is not that good. If you don't listen well, I know you can't teach well. Because you have to put everything into perspective in terms of America being outdone by China. That's why they would work with blacks. Duh. Why would whites do anything to help blacks? Nobody said help blacks. I said work with blacks to build up America. So it don't make no sense because you mischaracterize the conversation. The conversation is to rise up black Americans to help America. Plus, this probably not none of your business. Are you a foundational black American or are you in our business? Because we might not want you in our business in this discussion. We need to know who you are. Are you friend or foe? Almighty, are you our friend? Foundational black Americans? What is you? What race are you? Who is you? Where you from? Almighty, what is you? I'm just saying, what is you though? So we can see if you're a friend or foe. And then stop watching stuff that don't make no sense. Go watch somebody make sense. This is not about helping blacks. This is about America using all hands on deck to compete with China. Probably this conversation way over your head. You know what I'm saying? This is way over. This is way up here, and you way down there, like a civil rights era. You in the civil rights era. This is over your head. This is what America would have to do to compete. They would have to get all beings living in this country up to competitive mode to be able to compete with China. They would have to raise this whole country up to be a worthy competitor to China. They would never be able to be divisive and compete with China because China's all Chinese. So America's got to act like all Americans. They ain't going to be able to be black and white and compete with China because China not black and white. And you're only 4% of the population. So if you're 4% of the population, and then you got a divided group there, you don't got a chance in hell. How you going to compete? America need all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? This is common sense, but you got to understand some people, they don't want to listen because they have their own ideology. And when I say something that step on their ideology, then they kind of get upset because they have their own ideology and they're not open-minded enough to listen to any type of other concepts or stuff. They what we call stuck on stupid. So anytime they hear something that's not the basic, then they get their panties all up in a bunch. They're not really with open dialogue. You know what I'm saying? Because nothing ain't gonna make no sense if you ain't got no sense. You gotta have some sense for what I'm saying to make some sense. Because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. And you gotta have something if you want to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? No, it don't make no sense if you ain't got no sense. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some sense for this to make some sense. On the real. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some sense. No, it don't make no sense if you ain't got no sense. How you gonna make some sense if you don't got no sense to make no sense with? You gotta have sense if you wanna make some more sense. So no, it don't make no sense. Probably don't make no sense to a lot of Americans. But then tell me how you gonna compete with China. You make some sense and show me how America ever's gonna compete with China if they don't use everybody in the United States. If you can't tell me that, checkmate. And if you tell me that you wanted to compete with China and you wouldn't raise up Black Americans to be a better competitor, you slow. Because that would be common sense. That would be common sense to bring up the education in this country, because America's down like 20th or something, to get American education up to the top 6, because the top 6 countries when it comes to IQ is all Asian countries. So you would raise that, if you wanted to compete country against country, you would raise everybody up in that country, especially when your country's a melting pot and you're going against somebody that's not a melting pot. China's not a melting pot. They all Chinese. Americans is a bunch of different people. So America would have to get over their prejudice to get all these different people to compete with these people that's the same people. So you got a bunch of different people trying to compete with people that's the same people. So you would have to get these different people on the same program to compete with the same people. You'll never be able to compete if you got black and white division. You'll never be able to compete. How? How can black and white division compete with a united China or united India? You couldn't. If America wanted to compete, they got to be Americans. They ain't going to be able to be black and white and Asian and all that. They ain't going to be able to, how you going to compete against Chinese? It's just Chinese. They ain't got that problem. You understand? Just think about it. To me, it's the solution. You know what I'm saying? Let me get rid of, I got to get rid of comments that's bad for the, I'm trying to teach people. I'm not trying to make them slower. So I don't be liking information that young people don't need to see. I want young people to see information and start thinking outside the box. The bottom line is, for America to compete with China, they're going to have to get rid of racism, sexism, and all that. There ain't no way that America compete with China with divisions in the country. It just ain't going to happen. And you're only 4%, 4.5% of the population. You ain't got a chance. None. If you keep disrespecting Europe and they unite, you're going to be behind Europe too. America going to mess around and be like a third world country, because a lot of people going to leave here. They're going to leave if America don't get it together. If America don't get its act together on a global scale and get to producing, America's going to be a country with nothing but robots making stuff for everybody else. Your leader's going to sell you out. And Amazon and everybody going to be all robots, but they're going to be making money for people overseas. Their money not going to even be made for you. You're just going to be a country that just puts stuff in boxes. Everybody else going to make it. And you're just going to be a country full of robots. All AI and robots. Well, how do you even be no people over there? And people will be in other countries living, enjoying the money. And this will be nothing but a desert, a robot desert, if they don't make no changes. because America's dumb. You ain't got the top IQ in the country, way low. The American educational system is way, way low. High schoolers in America can't compete with high schoolers in Asia, not the white ones or the black ones. Man, white Americans in America cannot compete with Asians in Asia when it comes to education. That's white Americans. The ones supposed to be getting the best education over here cannot compete with like 6 or 7 Asian countries is ahead of America. So why wouldn't you raise the black ones up, maybe give you a better chance to compete? Make it make sense. The only reason that person asked me why I help blacks, because they in the black against white thing. So this conversation over here, I'm talking America against China. And they was on a low level talking about black against white. This conversation was way over their head. I'm talking about the United States as a country competing with China. And the only way America gonna be able to compete with China, they're gonna have to be Americans. They're gonna be able to be black and white. They ain't gonna be able to be Muslims and Christians and males and females. They ain't gonna be able to do all that. Because you compete with somebody that's just Chinese. That's it. They just Chinese. Now how you gonna compete with them unless you just Americans? So if Americans don't become Americans, you're not going to be able to ever compete with Chinese, Japanese, Indians from India. You're going to be way behind. Way behind. So go check out my man and you'll see why I said that. You know what I'm saying? Go check him out. You know what I'm saying? And you'll see why I'm saying all this stuff. You know, go watch that video right there, you know, and make sure you subscribe and learn something, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to Chase and Sharp and learn something, like step y'all game up. Stop watching the same old gossip and stuff. Expand your man. You know, listen to somebody that look different than you, somebody from a different world than you. Stop watching everything that's already in your world. Like, expand. I think I'll do more lives like this and start showing y'all what I be watching. I don't be watching. I watch all that too. I watch everything, you know, that typical blacks watch, but that ain't all I watch. Like I said, I was up 3 this morning watching this. You know, I be liking to expand my mind. And when I watch, I can't talk back. I just got to listen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go click on something where you ain't going to get to talk back. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to argue with them. You just listen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to do that, you know? Sometimes you got to go somewhere and just listen. Because your need to respond stops you from listening. So when you watching somebody and they say something and you hear a part and you start thinking about a response, you ain't hear nothing else they said after that one part. You miss all that information. So if I'm finna say 10 sentences and I say 2 sentences and you hear something in the second sentence and you want to respond, you ain't heard nothing I said in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th sentence. You ain't heard none of that because you're too busy trying to respond. And because you ain't listened to the 10 sentences, you don't even know what you're talking about. You didn't even let me paint the picture. You jump in the middle trying to question something before you even get to understand it. You don't even get to understanding of what you ain't even let me break it down. You jump in the middle before I even break down any of the concepts. Happen all the time. I come here and start talking for 5 minutes. Dudes be coming over here trying to question something. They don't even know the conversation. That's when I know you're an amateur. Like, you're not really that. You never went to lectures. You never went to lectures. You never listened in your life. You always running your mouth. And that running your mouth, it don't work in the intellectual world, and it don't work in the streets and the prisons and the jails either. You better learn how to zip it. Yeah, zip it. You better learn how to zip it. All that jibber jabber get you yibber yabbered. You know what I'm saying? Oh, so yeah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? It don't get no realer than this. Victory.